Am I still looking good, sounding good?
Yeah, it still is working.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Maybe sometimes with Macs, you just have to update them after or just restart after a while. Because I remember Discord when we did that, even though Discord gave us lots of problems, I would just restart and be like, "Oh, you're working now." So,
I don't know if you had it, but I just had the other day an operating system update for Catalina. So
oh, maybe it did that when I restarted it. Maybe.
maybe
Yeah, because we're live on YouTube. We're in the green, so there we go. So we ready to do this, Taylor Field?
ready.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to I don't know what this is. This is some hybrid. This is a Cantina Conversations, a newscast. This is like the aforementioned. Maybe one day we'll do a TNT spinoff podcast that we talked about. You know, I am the number one Kylo Ren fanboy. Trust now.
I'm the Spurs Taylor Field.
I did not think you were going to say that. I thought you were about to say sperms, and I was very wondering where you're going to go
That
with
was
that.
my first pick, actually. But I
That's
thought
your
it would
first
be
guess.
appropriate. Yeah.
So before we get into this, you can go check out a bunch of stuff. We did. Thank you. Anyone who watched along? We did a Netflix and fail Netflix watch along party. That was quite fun, Taylor. I think I had a good time with that watching the trust. That'll go live. We did it live, but that'll go live in a few days in the middle of the week for people, so you can check out that. It's more now for you guys if you're checking out after. It's a commentary track on the trust starring Elijah Wood and Nick Cage. So something our fans have been asking for years, you know, ever since 2016. It almost started the same time as Geek. They were filming the same time we were talking about starting Geekverse podcast, you know.
That's wild because I feel like it's so current of how Nick Cage is today.
He's what is that, priceless, as they say. So yeah, you can check out that. Go check out, if you're a Star Wars fan, check out the Clone Wars finale me and Taylor did last week. We've reviewed every episode of season 7 and every episode of the Clone Wars. You can check that out. Next week we have Scoob coming out. I'm gonna review that. I might be reviewing Capone. We have some Patreon picks right now. Head over to Patreon because of COVID-19. Join any tier, the $1 tier, $5 tier, $10 tier, the $100 tier, whatever you want. You can get a question on the cast. You can get stuff early. You can get exclusive cast. We just dropped, I guess I should be promoting this. We just dropped the Spider-Man commentary track at the beginning of May. And that one, I've said, is along with The Room, is probably my favorite commentary track we ever done. You, me, Kirklin had tons of fun on that one.
Yeah, that was a good time.
And then Taylor, what's going on when they listen to this live? There's probably only a few days left with the poll, right? So what's
well, this is dropping like today, right? Like
really
soon.
Yeah, it's late, like middle Sunday, something like that. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there or whatnot if you're listening. So
yeah, happy Mother's Day to all those moms. So yeah, Facebook poll, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. The series is over. You can gotta check out our review of the final season. It's super good. But right now it is. The poll is Obi-Wan versus Ahsoka. Ahsoka is down by 30 votes, I think. Yeah, so it's very, very close. And, you know, like, personally, I would like to see Ahsoka win this. Like, there's a lot of people were upset about Anakin losing, and I'm thank you to Travis for swooping into that guy's comment, because he's like, how did Anakin not win if he was outvoted or whatever, had more votes? But it's like, oh, no, time. But yeah, so make sure you check out the Facebook poll, and then tonight at 6 p.m. on Sunday, it'll swap over to Sidious and Maul. And then we'll see how tomorrow goes. So tomorrow, Monday, it'll be the final round. And you know, maybe it'll be an extended. Maybe it'll go for like 48 hours, not just 24 hours. We'll see how things go. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Another thing I want to promote too, I was recently guested on a Star Wars podcast called Another Star Wars Enthusiast. So that will be dropping in the coming weeks. I'll be promoting it kind of as we go along, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, more to come on that front.
Yeah, is this his first episode? Or are you the first episode? Or
I think it's his first. I think he's done like a few, but I think this is his first. And the topics are very much like, you know, bullet points. We go through like very specific like themes. So this episode will be covering purely Order 66, only canon, everything that's games, movies, the franchise, the comics, everything that relates to Order 66 as a whole. And I think the next topic he might want to dive into is probably like a Force Unleashed, some legend stuff. So yeah, some deep Star Wars lore for the fanboys out there.
Yeah, and then next week, we don't know when they'll be dropping, but we're going to be recording 2 retros. We got Swiss Army Man Out of Color, so we got Nick Cage all over. So, and before we get in that, so I have to bring up something, and if people see me on my phone, I am just promoting links and whatnot when you watch live because laptop's doing this thing. So I have to bring up something. Before we went live in a previous one, we were having some audio or some video issues, so I had to restart the computer, blah, blah, blah. But I was trying to rush to get to live because Taylor was having breakfast, and that's fine, Danny, because right now we're recording. It's 11. Well, it's 11:30 6:30, but still, I guess not breakfast, but still, you had a piece of pizza, and that's all fine and dandy. But then you were eating with a fork.
Yeah.
You're stabbing the pizza and bringing it to your mouth. That's not natural.
We've had this conversation many times. So the trick to do, pizza is a greasy food, and you don't like to get your hands greasy, especially when you're doing computer work. So what I like to do, I didn't do it today, but what I like to do is the crust is a perfect, straight shape. So with a knife, a butter knife, mind you, you can stick it right into the crust, and then you can use the fork and put it underneath as a leverage, and you can lift it up right to your mouth. And then, it's great. It's like, cutting a chocolate bar with a knife and fork,
Oh my God.
This is like the perfect way to keep your hands clean, not greasy. It's very classy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to bring it.
Just a monster. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, like I said, this is not official Geek First episode, not newscast, but we're talking about a lot of news because we got a lot of Star Wars. But the other two topics, there's one I want to talk about, but then the other one is just a very Taylor-oriented. So we're talking about Boba Fett coming back. We're talking about Hayden Christensen possibly being back, Anakin. We're talking about Taikia being confirmed for Star Wars director. We're talking about Pesco Pirates and Johnny Depp getting the boot. He's walked the plank. He's no longer with us.
Yeah.
And then I got some stuff to say about Henry Cavill because there's been some rumors, but I want to start with the biggest one. So a few days ago, it was Friday in our timeline, Hollywood Reporter, and that's a good thing. So it's not been confirmed, but this is a tier scoop. This is a tier list because it's Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood Reporter and Variety are like the two. You could even call them A+, but they are the two like you usually trust. So they said that it may be a smaller role, but I take that as maybe just one episode. But they did say Tamir Morrison is going to be back playing Boba Fett. Obviously, last year this was speculated when we saw the Spurs. For Taylor swore by for years or months that he heard no Spurs, but in the Tatooine episode there were some Spurs, and
I still can't hear them. I must be deaf.
I don't understand. So Taylor, what do you think? So obviously it's not confirmed, but it's very close to being confirmed. What do you think about him being back, and what do you think his role will be? And then I have a third question, but I'll get to that after you ask those two.
I think the general consensus was that we all were thinking that was Boba Fett in some shape or form. We were thinking that was Boba Fett, and obviously that storyline was left open because we assumed that Boba Fett was related to the client with that girl assassin or whatever. So I think that, hand in hand, we kind of always assumed that Boba would be coming back in this season. Just a big hunch. Tamura returning, I think this is just absolutely outstanding. Who else would you get to really play? I mean, if you get someone else to play as Boba Fett, I mean, you could CGI his face like Revenge of the Sith maybe or whatever, but like chances are, if you got a different actor, you probably wouldn't have the helmet come off, mainly because they made such an emphasis of keeping helmets on. And yeah, he is a bounty hunter and he's not really, I don't know nowadays where the Mandalorian thing stands. I think we're probably going to get a little bit of that detail dived into maybe in whatever episode he's a part of. But I think that the fact that they brought back Tamura is great because I feel like, okay, we're going to get that helmet pulled off. We're going to see him, which I really, really want, just to know that, okay, we got like old Boba Fett, he's older than his dad now at this time. So yeah, that's just, it's crazy to think. And just to think like, okay, yeah, this is like a clone. This is a great nod to the prequels. On top of that, you have a clone who grew up on the facilities of Camino, which is a direct link to this mad scientist wearing a Camino badge. I think that Boba Fett either is going to come into play being a bounty hunter or part of the guild, is going to help Mando, or in some shape or form, Mando's going to go out trying to find Boba Fett and maybe say, okay, I need some information about Camino because there's a lot going on that they want with this child and all that kind of stuff. So either it's going to be related to bounty hunting, cloning process, or just unfinished business with that client girl, that the assassin that got killed, and Boba Fett's trying to catch up. So it'll be interesting to see. Those are the three different timelines I think they're going to tackle.
Well, the one thing when you mentioned like who would they bring back, I always I know he's passed away, but I still feel bad for the original actor whose voice is just completely like taken out of Empire and Return the Jedi, and it's just Tamir Morrison because like, oh well, we recast him in the prequel. So I always find that kind of shitty because the thing is like, so there's also, we talk about, there's rumors that Ahsoka and Rex may be in the season, right? And then there's kind of that way of like, okay, he could be playing two roles. I still think there's a chance that he could play Boba Fett, I guess, but there's a chance we don't see Boba Fett's face and it is just his voice, because if he's already there acting, you could you could get anybody to play Boba Fett and he just does the voice. The same way Pedro Pascal doesn't always play the Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's more just he's confirmed he'll be the voice. I think because even the report says it may be a small role. I don't think in the small roles falls like a cameo or something like that, unless they're just really setting up like something big in season 3 for him to do. I just think I think it's going to be one episode of him. I could see him ending one episode and then one episode being kind of about him, and that's about it. If we are only getting one episode, I really hope that it's a longer one. I hope it's not one of these like 20-30 minute ones, because we've Boba Fett, that's a big character. Like Ahsoka is big because that's kind of making canon matter and stuff like that. But then Boba Fett's big because that's that's a big OG trilogy thing that they'd never touched or talked about. Also, we talked about, and I'm going to bring this up after, but like Josh Trank had that movie planned years ago. Remember they were doing that Boba Fett movie and they scrapped it. So I have questions about that, but I am wondering what they're going to do and where does this go. And first of all, I'm very excited. I guess I should have said that. Even though like I always joke, because at the end of the day, yeah, Boba Fett's a shit character. He died to a blind Han Solo, but I feel like Favreau and Filoni are two guys that are always like, that may be a mistake George made. So I'm interested for them to bring him back. I love that's confirmed because season 2's stacked now. You already got the Darksaber and you got what's his name? You got Moff Gideon, right? Mm-hmm. So you got that going on. If you got Ahsoka and Rex going on and Boba Fett, these episodes and Yoda still, like Baby Yoda still, and I still think I'm pulling back on it now because how much we're getting, but I still think there's a possibility we get a flashback with Darth Maul just to pepper in some Darth Maul. And so let's say if you did get that, that's a stacked season. That's definitely, which I did complain about. I did say that the first season I didn't like that it was full up a setup season, but if it was a setup season to get us to this, that'd be great. And I hope that means longer episodes, no filler episodes, because even a filler, like technically an episode of Boba Fett versus Mandalorian, let's say it was just that. Let's say it had nothing to do with cloning. I think it was just Boba Fett has a bounty and he's going to take out the Mandalorian. That could just be one episode, but it is kind of filler, but it is less filler because you're using Star Wars canon and lore and a character that everyone loves, right? And I think what's going to happen is, I don't know if this is going to be a shot, but I think we will have Boba confirmed in a trailer. I don't think it's going to be, I think the tease was last season because all I could see is the trailer ending with like Baby Yoda sitting there. Someone pulls a gun up to Baby Yoda and they like pan up the arm to the helmet and it's Boba Fett and then boom, cut to black. That's 20 million subscribers right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's Boba Fett. I know him, blah, blah, blah. So my question is, and this ties into some other, so maybe I'll ask this one first. What do you think he's been doing the past 30 years? Because now we've always talked about, right? Like, is he dead? Is he not? And obviously, there's the EU story of how he fought his way out of the Sarlacc pit and everything like that. I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I guess Jabba died, so he wouldn't. My thing is just I guess he could have maybe been injured. I'm just trying to think, like, would he have not interacted with any of the OG trilogy characters ever again then, or is that kind of that, like, we've been hoping, I don't think it's going to happen, but like maybe that animated show, I always got my fingers crossed that we get an animated show one day about the OJ3, Luke, Leia. Like, I always say, like, Luke training young Ben is perfect. Like, does he never bump into Luke Skywalker? Does he never go after Han Solo for, like, put him in the Sarlacc pit,
That's something that they probably cover in, like, a comic or whatever, maybe. I feel... From my knowledge, I think Briggs was always the one who was more well-versed in the bounty hunting aspects.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think, Boba Fett, like, bounty hunters, they don't hold, like, vengeances or griefs, it's just, their paycheck. That's their primary focus. So in this sense,
you want to talk about Boba Fett, who for, like, years made a plan to kill Mace Windu?
Okay, but that's in his adolescence when he's just a kid, right? And the bounty hunters were trying to, like, train him and groom him. But now, with the Empire looming over and all of this, restrictions, it's all about just getting that next paycheck. And he had a good job and he had a good boss or whatever. But from what I remember in Legends, at least, he got blasted out after, like, weeks, I think, of, like, blasting his way out of the Sarlacc. And then I think he just went back and, like, reconvened with, like, the Bounty Hunters Guild and just kind of, like, I think took control of that or just started, like, doing jobs again or whatever, trying to, like, get everything kind of reorganized in that sense.
Yeah, I think when we first meet him, he'll probably be like, if they do any, and I'll get to that, but if they do any flashbacks, I imagine he'll be pretty banged up and it'll be like a lot of healing and downtime, like right after the pit, I imagine. Because that could easily write off why he's not around for any events for Return of the Jedi.
Well, not this is 5 years though, remember? So, he's definitely had time to heal up and, like,
no, but that's what I mean. If they do a flashback, like, the reason I say, like, not that he would be on Endor or would be with Vader, but you can write off, like, why was he nowhere else in Return of the Jedi? It's like, oh, well, because, like, he was near death. He was on a deathbed, like, just healing, and now he would be good to go. That's what I mean. Like, you could write off, like, where has he been for, I guess, I said 30 years. You're right. It's only been 5, but even then, where was he for the first year or two after, the Battle of Endor? Well, he was still maybe healing, like, maybe he was just that banged up because we don't know what it's like to go through the Sarlacc pit. I imagine it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I just kind of think maybe if he got out and he just started doing like bounty hunting stuff. I'm assuming because the guild was booming, right, when Mando was a part of it. So I feel like that as far as jobs go, he's probably just doing jobs or whatever. And yeah, it'd be
So
interesting.
I think it's so more likely that he is doing his own thing, like we talk about possibly an EU, like running. I don't think you think he'd be in the Mandalore Guild.
Well,
I
the
don't think
bounty
so.
hunters guild. That's like the bottom idea that I have. The other idea is that maybe he's assimilated it and taken control of maybe like a lot of the Hutt's area on Tatooine, and that
Yeah,
he's working with or was working with that girl because I think they said that she was working for the Hutts at one point or did. It was like their assassin. So I think that he's probably assimilated himself into the crime organization, and if he has, you know, then that sets up it paves the way for like the remains of like Maul's organizations and all that
Crimson Dawn
stuff.
2.
Yeah, Crimson Dawn too. So you never know. I mean, there's so many different possibilities they could tackle this with. So I just don't know.
Mhm. Is he going like so? This would be mean of them to do, but will he survive the Mandalorian season 2?
I think so. I don't think they would pop him. I think that they, it's
Bring him
hard to
back just to kill him.
yeah, bring him back for a short bit just to kill him. It would be pretty ruthless, like another Sarlacc pit scene. Like, oh
Or
my
what, but
God.
what if Filoni? What if Filoni's the way of like he's a big George guy? What if George's like, oh, I'm always annoyed people bring up Boba? What if they did bring him back to like fully like, no, we're gonna chop like Jason Voorhees, we're gonna chop his head off, blow him up, like we're gonna make sure the fans know he's fucking dead this time. Like there's a chance.
Well,
That would be
there's always a chance. There's always a 1% chance. But I think that we're gonna get the Empire Strikes Back treatment, where he's just gonna be there. He's gonna be doing some stuff, and he's gonna kind of just further the story along. So
really, you think that? I think he's gonna be whatever that episode is. He's gonna be the main antagonist of it.
really, well, oh yeah, he will. But I think like he's not gonna be like Return of the Jedi, where he dies at the end. Like they bring him in, then he dies. I feel like he's gonna be Empire Strikes Back, where he's gonna be in it, but he's not gonna die. He's just gonna go with the story.
Okay, so we talked about that Trank movie. So, in your opinion, what does this lead up to? Because obviously, so I'll give you three options. Is Boba Fett just now a character in the Mandalorian for the rest of the show, and maybe he's in a few more episodes and seasons down the line? So, is he a Mandalorian character? Is this setting up a potential movie or series down the line, whether it's continuing or moving backwards, like maybe it's a prequel, or is this just kind of maybe a one-off and it's to set up maybe like some animation or comics down the line, like, oh, these were his adventures in these 5 years? Like, what do you think is like, because if you think he's going to survive, what's the plan now? Because I agree with you. I do think it's higher than 1% chance that he could die. I think that would be a way to shock everybody and turn expectations. If you think Boba Fett's coming back and Grand Moff, whatever, Gideon just chops his head off, and it's like, oh man, like people might be pissed, but it might be like, well, at least you got Boba back for an episode, and that sets up those 5 years. But I'm more on the bandwagon that I think if you introduce Boba Fett, they have some sort of plans. We still don't know what that animated sequel series is, right? Like the rumored like Rebel series, but he could easily be a character in that. You can easily do a Boba Fett Marvel comic book series. And like we said, there is the reason I brought up the movie is because people have been saying like, well, Obi-Wan was a movie and now they took those scripts and turned them into the series now, and now they're changing them. But like, so do you think what do you think is a potential route of what they could do with Boba Fett?
I feel like it would probably just be like a one and done episode. I mean, I don't think they'll do anything else after. I feel like it'd be like the Rebels treatment. They brought Obi-Wan in for one episode and that was it, You just bring in like this original character and then that's all you need to do, just get to progress the story along.
So for the show or just in general, you think he comes in for this episode and then that's it?
I think he just comes in for the episode. I really do. I think that if they're going to have him in any other shape or form, they'll just do it with like comics or something like that. They love to do that. Just, and go further in depth with the character and story by going at the comics or kind of like tackling it in that route.
So if you think they're only bringing him for one and done, why do you think it's only a 1% chance they could kill him?
Because I feel like it would be...
Because it's different with Obi-Wan, right? Like he was one and done, but we know where his story is going. If Boba Fett, let's say at the end of Mandalorian episode 2 in season 2, he is alive and he flies off, that would insinuate, it's not like Obi-Wan where it's like, oh, we know he's going to the Death Star to die. If Boba Fett just goes and flies off, that he's going off to a territory we don't know where he's going. That's an open door.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think Star Wars definitely has lots of other stories because they like leaving so many open doors again to pursue in comics. That's what they would do, or they keep him alive to bring him back later on. I just think he's going to be like one of those characters you look at everyone that we lost in this season, I think he's gonna like come up and kind of be like a Cara Dune character where he'll be there for a bit and then maybe he'll come back later on the season. Who knows? I just don't think they're gonna like IG-80 or IG-11 him. Or quill him. I think they're gonna keep him, around because he's just they know the fan base is gonna. I mean, they could shock the world by killing him off, but I think they know the fan base is like a really pro Boba Fett. So I've got a Boba Fett Black Series figure on order. I'm super stoked for it.
Oh wow! And I agree with your comics. Do you not think there's a chance he could pop up in a animated series, whatever that would be, the sequel animated series?
I mean, I'm not gonna say no. There's always a chance.
Just because there are so many people, like he popped up in, like Filoni's a fan of him, right? He used him in Clone Wars. He didn't use him in Rebels because obviously that was like a weird time period. But like Boba Fett doesn't appear in there, right? Even like
not that I remember.
No, but you got to, and again, he works with Tamara Morrison a lot, so you could easily have him do the voice in the animated series. So. It's going to be interesting. Do you think it's going to be kind of like a mid-season sort of deal? It won't start season, won't end the season, kind of like that Tatooine episode?
I don't know. The way that they're going to do this is that first episode is going to be just mind-blowing, I'm assuming. Like, we're going to have good action, good fun, like, throughout the beginning, and then the ending is going to end on an insane cliffhanger. Just like, I mean, it's got to be on point with Baby Yoda, like, quality, because Baby Yoda was, like, not anything that we expected. Yeah. So I'm feeling like at the end, something's going to happen, and maybe Boba Fett's just going to walk in, or maybe, like, who knows, maybe Ahsoka walks in with Rex. Like, something crazy is going to go down. It's just going to leave us, like, wanting more, and then the filler episodes will come in, So
see, this is where it's tough because you bring up that was a great point about Baby Yoda, but here's the thing where I counter you is we didn't know about Baby Yoda. That didn't leak, right? We had no idea. Like, we never got any report of, there's a young Yoda-like creature. We know about Ahsoka and Rex. We know about Boba Fett. So is it, I guess, so I'll ask you, if it's, let's just say those two, which one do you think is a bigger cliffhanger to end on between Boba Fett and Ahsoka? Which do you think would get more people hyped?
Ahsoka, definitely okay. Ahsoka.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I just still, again, think that I don't know if, like, none of those reach Baby Yoda level of like what is the. I think if we didn't know about it, they would. But the fact we know about it, so that's the thing. Maybe they're just kind of at a disadvantage now that we're in this world, and maybe it would have been a cliffhanger. But
it's true. But at the same time, a part of me thinks that maybe those are just things for later filler episodes, and that maybe they are still saving something. We could get like a
Luke Skywalker.
Well, you never know. We could get like an end scene of him like traveling to, or like a Camino or something. Like, we could get like, could you imagine that? How cool that would be? Like the end scene, like he takes off with Baby Yoda, and then it flashes to like the Camino ends or whatever. On
That's
Camino.
Not as big as Baby Yoda. Get off your.
No. Hear me out. The Caminoans talking or whatever, and then they look to Boba Fett, and Boba Fett's on Camino, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to actually go and achieve this for our goals or our purposes or whatever." Like that would just be super cool because I think seeing the Caminoans again would be pretty hype. And I mean, you tie Boba Fett in with that. I think like I don't think we're gonna get just like Boba Fett or one of these characters. I think we're gonna get like a scenario that'll have something else that we are not expecting, maybe attached to the scene with one of these characters possibly, or something just brand new altogether. Because I think that they're gonna do the same thing with the Baby Yoda. And I think it'll be wise because Baby Yoda toys and everything are like, they came out like late. I mean, they just came out May 1st is when they released. So
yeah, well, they didn't want spoiled, right?
They didn't want spoilers, no. And now like obviously toy sales are like through the roof. Like I barely got my Black Series Baby Yoda, so
yeah, I still want a plush.
Oh yeah. Well, EB Games, check them out. But or Hot Topic maybe too. But yeah, it's just it depends. Like if they release a rare new character, like are they going to do like the toy thing again? Or are they going to hold out and keep it secret? I mean, it's definitely worked for Baby Yoda, but it depends. Yeah. Like if they did it with Boba Fett, I mean, I'd wait. I mean, there's so much Boba Fett stock coming out. They just released a brand new helmet. They released this new 40th anniversary action figure for him. So I don't know. I don't know.
On Facebook, some targeted ads were hitting me with Boba Fett bandanas, like
Oh, the face mask. I saw
yeah.
that too. I was like, oh, I kind of want that.
Yeah, but I guarantee you, like that's why they call it a bandana to like not get sued or something. There's some mumbo jumbo, but
Mhm.
yeah, I watched the first episode. I went like Jar Jar or something. Like that'll be the massive cliffhanger.
Misa back. Yeah, Jar Jar in there. Oh
I'd
boy.
cancel Disney Plus right there. I'd be like, that's it. Anything else on Boba Fett? Obviously, you're excited, right?
Oh yeah, I mean and I'm just down to have more characters wearing Mandalorian helmets. I just love that look. It's sleek, it's sexy. So I honestly want my Paz Vizsla to come back. That's what I want.
I don't think that's happening right now.
Well, his helmet wasn't in like the heap of dead helmets, so hopefully, he'll come back. Boba Fett will come back. Just like I want to look at my shelf and be like, I got the Mandalorian, I got Boba Fett, and I got Paz Vizsla. Just like, just
No Jango Fett.
Jango Fett is insanely expensive. If I could, like, I would love to get Jango. I'd love to get Sabine Wren from Rebels as well. All those Mandalorian characters, but
you don't want any of the. Does Paz Vizsla have the Darth Maul horns or whatnot? You don't want one of those horns ones?
Well, you know who Paz Vizsla is, right?
Yeah, it's Jon Favreau, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll
visual aid for the video people right now.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, yeah. I'd want one of the horn guys from this last season 7.
Oh, you want one of the they're Maul's commandos.
Yeah, we're gonna glimpse into Taylor's toy room here.
Oh yeah, my pleasure room.
Oh my, it's like 50 Shades of Grey when he's like, "Oh, let me show you something." He walks in there, and luckily Madison's still with him. With all. Do you have the character or no?
Which character?
Oh, you're putting him back. You made it look like you had the horn. Just general.
Oh no! I don't know if there is a Black Series figure of him. I wish. I have to see if there's a Maul one too.
Better be. Yeah, well, Jango's expensive because he's the best bounty hunter of them all. Like, I'm sorry, he's better than Boba. He's better than the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian would get bopped by fucking, like, Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan would destroy him.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, where Jango put up a legit fight, and he put up a fight against Mace Windu, too. But
I guess so, yeah.
Mace Windu, the only reason he lost was because that fucking dinosaur
it hit
his jetpack, and, like, he was damaged good, and he was just sitting there like a duck, like, what do I do? I'm going to shoot. That's all I got. But, like, he's a Jedi killer. Mandalorian ain't no Jedi killer. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah. Plus, I guess I'll give it to you. With Jango actually can use a jetpack. Mando's training, so
yeah. Well, and Boba Fett can't. He flew right into the Sarlacc pit. So
well, when a jetpack gets hit, it goes out of control, right? At least he didn't get decapitated. That's the main thing.
Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe he put his head back together.
I'd say, like, if you can outlive your dad, then you've done something right?
No, I don't think so. He could not if you're a bitch. Not if you're
he's not a bitch.
He is a bitch.
No.
Boba Fett, the way George Lucas wrote him out Return of the Jedi is terrible. He's a crap character who did nothing. He has a cool look. We've not seen him in film canon do anything cool.
He did so much for the story. Without him, the Empire never would have got to Bespin, and
that could have been anybody.
Heroes.
No, that could have been anybody. I feel like
he was the only one who knew to stay in the trash and wait for Han Solo to fly away.
Yeah, I guess, but like they would have got him eventually. Vader was a smart dude, like, and Yoda and Luke are on the rocks. They would have gave themselves away, So and fuck Yoda too. Fuck Yoda. Fuck Boba Fett. Fuck Qui-Gon. Fuck Yoda. Boba Fett because he sucks. Yoda and Qui-Gon because they let Order 66 and everything happen. They're just the worst Jedis in the world, So,
well, Yoda didn't know.
He's talking about another character who's the worst Jedi in the world, Anakin Skywalker. Fuck anybody who thinks Anakin Skywalker is a good Jedi because he's not. He's a terrible character. I was happy to throw my shade because he lost. There was a Civil War round in the polls. It was him, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, and he lost. He has more votes now, but you got to vote in the time that's warranted. That's why you got to go on that page. It's 6-6. You got 24 hours. But he lost, and I was just happy to throw trash character is where he belongs. Trash. And I got a bit more likes than I thought I was going to receive. I thought people would be shitting on me, but no. Fuck Anakin Skywalker. So, but speaking of Anakin Skywalker, there's been rumors going around. I'd say this is now more like C tier, C plus tier. These guys have broke some scoops before, but there's been rumors that Hayden Christensen could be returning in physical form and specifically having some sort of role in Obi-Wan. Taylor, I'm going to ask you, do you think this is going to happen? And if so, what do you want the role to be?
Well, it makes me wonder, are we going to get him in flashback scenes, because then it makes me, well, I really don't think that we're going to get Darth Vader in that sense because the whole setup of A New Hope is just like he hasn't sensed, he always assumed Obi-Wan was dead and all that stuff. So it's
But remember, as I'm with you, I don't want him to see Vader in the series. But fans always bring, well, look, Vader says I haven't sensed his power in, and he stops, and he never says the time, and it's been a long time. So people have said, what happens if like 5 years after Mustafar they met? Like some people do that game because Vader never specifically states how long it's been since he's sensed his master.
Well, if the last time you sensed him, he cut off all your goddamn limbs and left you to burn, I wouldn't finish that sentence either. It'd be a pretty haunting memory that would make you stop talking. But, I'll give people that 2% chance that, Disney might be like, let's throw Anakin in there as Vader. And you never know. So, I mean, in the sense of Anakin coming back, I think, chances are we would get some like Clone Wars flashbacks kind of thing. I would love to see Anakin rocking his Clone Wars armor if he were to come back in flashbacks.
Not a chance.
Super cool. Yeah, I know. But
why does everyone think it is? And shout out to Del Mutz who's in our live chat. Don't diss the Fett's trash. Fuck all I didn't diss Jango. Jango Fett's the man. Fuck Boba Fett. Fuck Dota Fett, who's probably out there. Baby Boba Fett. All those Fetts. I think I know people keep saying flashbacks, but here's okay. I guess they do have the technology. There is de-aging technology, but I just feel like Hayden Christensen is a tad too old to play, like take de-aging out. Let's say they don't do that. I just feel like because then if you de-age him, you're going to have to de-age Ewan McGregor. And that means Ewan McGregor's going to have to shave or he's going to have bad Henry Cavill mustache CGI going on. And we don't want that. You don't want the Obi-Wan series opening up with the bad, like Henry Cavill smile on Ewan McGregor's face. You don't want that. So I feel, and what I've always said that one, I do agree that maybe it could be Vader, which I don't want. I'm with you. I'm fine with Vader in the series somehow, but I don't want them to meet at all. I've always taken it the same way as like they haven't seen each other since that time, and I think it's more powerful. And I think the second you add that in, you don't like it. Even though Taylor, I bet when you add it in, you'll bet, you know what, I do like it now. You'll turn around because Filoni will like get you. But I trust Deborah Chow. Seeing that Mandalorian documentary again, I just can't wait for her direct this. I can't wait for the series, but I think it's going to be like some hallucination or something like that. Like maybe there is Vader in the series and they get him just to come back to be in the suit for old time's sake. But I think it could be Obi-Wan in a dream sequence seeing like, look what you did to me. Like imagine just, it won't be this. It won't be like Hayden Christensen there as a stump. But like, I think it could be something like that where it's a dream sequence, some weird Jiminy Cricket sort of deal. Like even then, because then even if he looks older, it's fine. You could do some almost what if scenario where he thinks about what would happen if he didn't chop down Anakin and a bunch of pieces. So I think that's more likely than a flashback. They could do a flashback, but I don't know. I don't see it happening, the flashback.
Yeah, I think I still think, chances are we could get the flashback. I also think that maybe in this sense, like Obi-Wan could still be like, he's very humble, but I think he's going to go through some trials and tribulations during this time. So when you look at him, being haunted, maybe he'll just be like sleeping in his hut on Tatooine, and then you'll see Hayden Christensen swing through the door and just go in and start cutting him, and you'll get like them fighting for a brief 3 minutes, and then he gets slashed down by him, and then he wakes up in bed and he's just like actually like really terrified.
Anakin's in bed with him. Go back to sleep, Obi-Wan. Go back to sleep.
So I think we're gonna get haunting stuff.
So I don't think this would happen, but you never know. What do you think the percent chance if Anakin, Hayden Christensen is like dream sequence stuff? Do you think what's your percentage on getting a Natalie Portman cameo?
No, not happening.
Really? You don't think, because what if there's some dream scenario where he thinks about like he sees all these nightmares, but he also thinks about what if he would have saved them, and he sees like something like, you love Pirates of the Caribbean. So what if it was a scene similar to like the end of Pirates of the Caribbean where Will Turner and what's her name, Elizabeth Swann reunite with their child? What if he had a dream sequence and it would take a day, not even for her just to be on camera, smile, like just a quick dream sequence of them with their children and just thinking about like what could have been, and she's back with Disney with Thor Ragnarok. Remember, she's back in the Disney family. So
that's true.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I think there's a day where she's on the Thor set. Hey, just walk right over, come here, play for like an hour or two. A line or two dialogue would be easy, in and out.
I think it depends on the background. If it's the Elizabeth Swann route, depends on that CGI backdrop.
Oh no.
But you make a good point. So maybe I'll retract what I said and say, there is a chance, because we could get that like Obi-Wan thinking like he sees Anakin and Padme holding Luke and Leia and having fun or whatever. So yeah, that would be kind of cool to see that what if perspective, but it depends. It's very bold. So who knows?
Yeah, so we'll see. Hayden Christensen may be coming back. It's all rumor right now. I guess I didn't give anything. I think it's gonna happen. I don't know. Like I said, I want the dream sequence, whatever it is, flashback dream sequence. I think that he will be back. I just think it makes sense. Even if he's back in voice form again, I just think that's the way you want to go. So
yeah.
We got this confirmed. This was, I don't think you and I have actually ever talked about this on cast, but this was a rumor, I think about a month or two ago. I think it was 2 months. When did Jojo Rab? Oh no, it's been longer than that. That was around Oscars time. That was like in January, February when it was rumored Taika will be directing a Star Wars movie. And it was confirmed that he's writing and directing a Star Wars movie along with, I can't remember the other writer's name. She wrote 1917. She wrote Last Night in Soho with Edgar Wright coming up. But Taylor, what do you feel about Taika officially directing? Who knows? In a month, he's going to have some fucking creative differences and they'll be like, oh, it's not happening anymore. That's the one, I'm going to start before I throw to you. That's why I'm tempering my expectations because I'm super excited. If you let Taika direct, to me, I do have some problems with the Ragnarok, but after Jojo Rabbit, I thought that was his perfect film. I think that's his masterpiece. And that was the right balance of comedy and very being serious. In his episode of Mandalorian, I was the person that didn't love the Stormtrooper joke. I thought it went on for too long. So that does worry me a little bit that he would go that slant, but I still trust him. If I'm giving the yes or no, it's 2 thumbs yes. But it's hard for me right now to get excited for anything Star Wars, maybe other than Mandalorian, because I trust Favreau and Filoni to actually deliver on what they're saying, putting out there. There's just been so many, like even we did get confirmed that girl who did Dollhouse is doing that. We got a new series confirmed. Remember that was rumors as well that she was doing a female-centric series that had mixed martial arts or something like that, and that was a rumor and that was confirmed. But it's the same thing, like how many series are rumored, how many series are confirmed? And I know they don't control all this, but it's hard for me to get excited when we've had so many directors, like other than Force Awakens and Last Jedi, like Rogue One, Solo, like I still count Rise of Skywalker, like all these switches. We had the fucking Game of Thrones guys directing a series. They're just gone now, like, and the Cassian Andor person, I'm so mad because the series, the guy who was the showrunner, he was the guy who did The Americans, which I love. He's gone, and Tony Gilroy from Rogue One's doing it. So it's like, and even Obi-Wan, look how many problems we've had there. So I'm excited at the concept, the idea of Taika Waititi directing. I think it's a great fit. I trust him for what he would do timeline wise. I have no idea what Taika wants to do. I have no idea. Like Taika Star Wars to me is someone that wouldn't maybe even have lightsabers. Like I feel like Taika would look at a Star Wars comic or an animated episode or something. He'd see one particular thing of like, he could literally be making a movie about the cantina. Like I literally think he could I would trust Taika with a fucking pod racer movie. I'd love a pod racing movie by Taika Waititi. Imagine if he gave all those little characters like personalities and whatnot. So I think it's going to be more Taika's, it's Star Wars, so it's big, but I think it's going to be more smaller. So Taylor, what do you think about Taika? Are you excited too? What do you think he could possibly cover if this happened?
Yeah, I'm excited about him taking on the project. Like in the end, I feel like it's hard for me to get super, super excited because I feel like this is like the 10th freaking Star Wars show that they just announced, and then the same for movies. They keep spitballing all of this content. Like, yeah, we got a movie in the works. Oh, we got a new series in the works. And it's like, that's fine and dandy, but I feel like there's no weight to these things because there's nothing to back it up. So I feel like,
where's Rian Johnson's trilogy?
Yeah, where's his trilogy? That's apparently still in the works, I guess.
Oh, bullshit. That's a lie.
It's just hard for me to kind of get on board and believe like a lot of these are coming out. Like for me, I need to see like from a reliable source, like set images. Like with Rogue One, we got like the images of them on set, and I thought, okay, this is actually happening at the time. And
same
I feel
with
like
Mandalorian, we got that picture, right? And it was like, okay, they're actually filming. Same thing with Obi-Wan. I won't believe Obi-Wan's happening until I see Ewan McGregor, like a set photo of him with the lightsaber, because they say they're doing it, and I do believe them on that one, because I just think if they were, we've talked about this before, if they canceled Obi-Wan, I think that would be such a shock to the fans, and fans would, I think you'd lose a lot of people, I legitimately, lots of stuff I don't think the people complaining about Rise of Skywalker are that mad to like cancel Disney Plus or not do a Star Wars comic. I think if you cancel Obi-Wan, because that's a character that like crosses all generations, I think lots of like fans would be pissed and be like, okay, I'm kind of done with Star Wars for now. I think people would be off the bandwagon. But even then, I think it's happening, but I won't believe it till we see a set photo because we've had that rumor for so long. And even when they announced it, then it was delayed. You know, it's like, oh, we're rewriting the scripts. It's like, why? You guys said these scripts were great and now you're rewriting them. What's happening?
Yeah, yeah.
And what do you think? Do you think there's anything? What would you want him to be about it? Like, if you had your choice of a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie, do you think it's going to be a grander scope? Because the only thing Taika, I think, can make smaller, but with Star Wars, are we always going to get that big, like, huge adventure, right? Or could it be something smaller?
I think it could be smaller. Honestly, I wouldn't mind something that's just, like a heist or smugglers or something.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like Solo. I mean, like as
Solo
much as like
2.
Yeah,
He's
Solo 2.
Solo
Yeah.
2.
As much
Make
as
Solo
like
2 happen.
I hope he's not doing Solo 2, to be honest. I think that needs to go off on a different path. Even though like I like Solo, so
He would be I don't think they're doing it now, and I think it would be better as a series, but I actually think he'd be a perfect fit if they ever did a Lando series.
Yeah.
With that humor and whatnot, but so not Solo. So you think a heist? Okay, I'll give you this. Take one like bounty hunter or smaller character, and who do you think he could tackle? I don't know if this would be it, and because I don't think they would want to do Vader, but I could see him tackling a Dr. Aphra-like character, like the way she's kind of like the Indiana Jones of Star Wars. I think you can have lots of fun with that. I just don't think they're gonna, if Vader's in the Obi-Wan series at all, I don't think they want to mix pollinate and put him back in like another movie, right? And then I think enough people will be like, oh, look, it's another movie with Vader. So what's a character?
Maybe he'll tackle like a Dengar trilogy.
A Dengar?
Yeah, you never know.
who plays the live action Dengar?
I have no idea the actor's name.
No, I meant like who they cast. Is
like Elijah Wood. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, it's God, maybe like I don't know, maybe like a Jonah Hill. I think I think you need someone who's kind of like, a bit like on the larger side, but is still fairly like, fit, because Dengar in the original trilogy, he looked like he was like a bit of a bigger guy.
He's going to be a CGI character. You don't need to find someone that actually fits the
No, he's not CGI. He's
what?
not CGI. He's an actual like person in this like wearing like similar to Boba Fett's armor.
You think they would do that though for a movie?
I think so, because he has a human face. So why would they CGI him?
Oh, Dengar. Sorry, I got mixed up with Bosk for a second.
Oh, no way. Oh, no, Dengar.
Yeah, you can take my Star Wars crowd fan. Dengar is even worse. I never want Dengar around. Like, oh my God. Like, oh, that'd be, if you got Dengar, oh man, I'm trying to think. Like, I know all the obvious go-tos like Chris Hemsworth, but I'm trying to think. You need someone, I think, like, you need someone a bit older. Oh boy, who could it be?
I would take Boss, on that quick topic.
A Trandoshan
movie? Yeah, like Predator style. Oh,
yeah, like that Clone Wars episode.
Yes.
They won't. Well, no, I can't do that. I was gonna say Qui-Gon for Dengar, but he's already or Liam Neeson, but he's already Qui-Gon Jinn. So I don't know. I'll have to think about who my fan cast for Dengar is. I don't know. I've never. Yeah, that would be pretty awful. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else on tech. I was going to ask a question, but yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I hope it happens. I hope we get it. Oh, here's my question. So let's say, this is the other movie we forgot is remember there's a Kevin Feige announced produced Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah, that's still happening. Okay.
So here's the thing. Taika's doing a movie right now, and then he has Thor Ragnarok, which comes out, I think 2022 or something like that. So this is still this movie is like at least 4 years away, like the minimal is. So do you think because there's I guess I answered the question because they still have that 2022 Star Wars movie on the docket, but this wouldn't be it, right? If Thor Ragnarok's coming out. So
yeah, it wouldn't be. So like in the great scheme of things, we got the Feige movie, the Rian Johnson trilogy. So I'm actually gonna label how many movies we got, because so we got Feige's, we got the Rian Johnson trilogy, so that's 4. We got Kevin Feige's 1.
We don't have it anymore, but we had the Game of Thrones guys, so that's why we had more, but they are going away right now. So right now in production, technically, you have Feige, Johnson, and Taika's trilogy. Those are the 3.
Well, there's 5 actual movies though, right?
What are the other 2?
Well, it's the Rian Johnson trilogy, so you have 3 movies there.
I don't care.
So you have 5 Star Wars movies in the books right now, and for series we have this like I'll probably double that 10. I'm gonna say 10.
Everything. Yeah. Dylan wants to do something about the origins of death sticks. I'd be pretty down. That guy who asked for death sticks, that's what I want. I think he should do a Cantina movie. I think that would be lots of fun. Pick a low life, and it's like just his day in Star Wars. Not even a badass. Not even like Mandalorian, who is like kind of lucky, but then he's still badass. Like no, like let's get
just for you, Dylan. So his name is Elon Sleazebagano.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So as we've been saying lately with Zoom, we've been trying to go live. That's our plan. Once things get back to normal, we have a nice camera. As you can see, it's nice, and it'll be even better when we're not filming over the interwebs and whatnot. But it's just me in the room. So anything else on Taika's movie, Taylor?
I don't think I have anything else on Taika. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully it comes to life.
This one's for me because I just want to throw this in there and I want to get your opinion. So last week there was some rumors came out that initially it's been back and forth with Henry Cavill as far as Superman. Blah, there was a Supergirl movie plan, but rumors came out last week that they've halted production or just like development on that Supergirl movie because they want to put the emphasis back on Superman. And only thing in the report said that Superman is not Henry Cavill is not out of the realm of possibility. That is still an option. That's all it said. Not that it's the lead option or anything, but it's still out there. I'd say this kind of comes from like a C+ tier, so it's a bit higher than some of the C tiers. So Taylor, what do you think is going to happen with Superman in the next 5 years? And do you think it will be Henry Cavill?
Well, I mean, if they wanted to, they could have had him come back as Superman and Shazam. So,
well, that's when they were still negotiating, and clearly they had not figured it out, right? So,
well, didn't they cast what was it? They had a different actor for Superman. I thought they were playing with, wasn't
in the TV shows that they are.
No, not in the TV shows, but I thought he was a different ethnicity, wasn't he?
Well, there was rumors of Michael B. Jordan, but clearly that is still rumors, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Because what happened with Shazam is apparently they wanted him to come in and film the cameo, and he said, "Okay, but what's the plan for like me, like in a sequel, like for Justice League or another Superman movie?" And they just told him there's no plan right now, and he said, "Well, if there's no plan, I'm not going to come do the cameo." And they said, "Oh, I guess you're not doing the cameo." So that's what it was like. It was, and then he became Geralt for The Witcher, which he does a fantastic job at. He's phenomenal. So what do you think next 5 years? Will we see a Superman movie, and is it going to be Henry Cavill?
I think that we probably will see him come back. I think he wants to play the role. I think he enjoys it. So I think there's a good chance. I'd like to see him come back. It makes me wonder like what we're going to get on that front. Like, is it going to be obviously connected to the larger DCU? So I don't know. It'd be cool to keep him alive as the Man of Steel because we've got, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. We got all these characters that really fit and live and breathe their roles. The only exception is Ben Affleck's gone, but his story is turned into a prequel, right? So we have Robert Pattinson.
We don't know that.
He's not. Oh, okay.
That's not confirmed, and I don't think that's happening. I think it's going to be a completely different story with Robert Pattinson's the Batman.
Okay.
Oh my god! Oh my god! We're talking about some serious news here, and what do I see? Taylor just hold up some fucking cat toy, and this cat just jump in the frame.
Wait for it. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it. He's gonna jump. There he goes.
You have cats named Peter and Parker. Why is there no Clark or Kent?
Clark or Kent. Well, I don't know. I'm more of a Marvel fan than I am a DC fan. Superman's cool and all, but like, if they bring Henry Cavill back, then he'd be even cooler. So.
And that's coming from you. You weren't the biggest fan of Man Steel, correct?
No. I just remember saying like, "Oh, the producers of The Dark Knight or Christopher Nolan produced it or something like that." And I thought like, "Oh, this is gonna be so good," because I was writing off of The Dark Knight. And I'm like, "Wow, this is gonna be good." And then I was like, "Whoa, like this is Christopher Nolan." It doesn't feel like a Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he didn't have too much to do with it. I think he's just kind of producer by name. So I think for a movie, I think we will get one in the next 5 years. I think Superman's something they do want to revitalize. I do think it is. He's just one of their top tip pillars. And you got Batman coming back, whatever the form is. You have Wonder Woman that should have a successful sequel later on in the summer here. Hopefully it comes out in August so we can actually review it and talk about some big movies for once. I mean, I love the Patreon picks, but I'm ready for some new movies, like movies no one's seen. So I'm excited for those spoilers review. I think it will happen. With him, it's just, I just wonder there's a term called bad blood, and I just wonder how will they be able to both get over each other to do it, because I think Henry Cavill's star is on the rise. I think after The Witcher, lots of people really like him, and I think people Mission Impossible 2, he was that super popular gift that everyone used for like that entire summer. It felt like anytime you needed a gift, you use like Henry Cavill, locking up his arms, so I think his star is only on the rise, and I do wonder, it is just a friendly competition, but I've always put this out. I still think there's a chance that if they don't scoop him up again, I think Feige might pull in Cavill, because I've said this before. Cavill's a loyal guy. He's always talked about how much he loves Superman. He wants to keep playing him. He said he's down to play him at any time. So I think Feige might look at him. My cast is as Wolverine, but just get him on the team, give him a jersey, and then he's on the Marvel team. So I think it's smart. I think you're not going to go, and I'm sorry for people that love this stuff, especially our boys at Super Civil Servant who check out the network, premiering June 1st. I don't think you're going to get the Man of Steel vibes exactly. I don't think you're going to get Zack Snyder back or anything like that. I've always been pitching J.J. Abrams. Yes, Rise of Skywalker hurt me a lot, but I'm still trusting him to get. I think he could give us a good Superman. I think there's still enough fans where you can bring in new people to love this newer kind of updated version of Henry Cavill, but then you still have those classic like Snyder cut BVS people that will go to support Henry Cavill as Superman, So I think it could be the mix of both worlds. I think it would be like Wonder Woman though, where it would be in the quotations universe, but they wouldn't have like anybody cameo. It would just be around. And I still think at the end of the day, like I know DC's doing this. I think they're on the right path doing these one-on-one movies, but I think eventually, in maybe it's past 5 years, but I do think they want to get back to doing a connected universe, because I personally want it, because I want them to have their end game. I want them to have that huge, massive movie with all these DC characters, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and it feel natural like Endgame. I remember when I watched Endgame, I loved the movie, but then as a DC guy as well, I just thought about, I'm like, man, I wish we had this. And I didn't think Justice League was going to be that, because it's like the first one, but I just wish we had a connected universe that flowed. So I hope they find a way to do both. If I think he's going to be back, oh boy. I think I would say 51% no. I would lean 1% more to he's not going to be back. I just have a vibe. I don't know. I just wonder if there's too much, like not enough water under the bridge. They might want someone younger. There's going to be a new James Bond in the next few years, and people have always said, oh, Henry Cavill might be that. So I feel like he might just go the other path and whatnot. So anything else to say on this, Taylor Field?
Nope. I think that's it.
Okay, last topic, because I want to get your opinion on this. So there's been rumors. These I'd say are kind of like C plus tier ones, but we kind of noticed for a while that Disney is wanting to reboot Pirates. But this report was, yes, they're rebooting Pirates of the Caribbean, and they've been looking at Karen Gillan, who does she's in Jumanji and she's Nebula and the Guardians and Avengers movie. Taylor, you're a big Pirates fan. I'm actually I'm a big trilogy fan. Those other two count me out, but the trilogy I love. I'll fight any day for those other two movies. I love those movies. But what do you think about, should they be, because they said reboot, but do you think this will be a full-on reboot, or do you think this could just be a character in that world that's nothing to do with Jack Sparrow, so you could bring him in? And what do you think about them moving past the Jack Sparrow / Johnny Depp era, if this is all true?
I don't think they should do a reboot. Reboots have a bad label to them, I think. So plus people are like, well, why would you reboot it when the series is like fine, as it was? Just do something, a new idea, a new different altogether. I think that in that sense too, like the humor and the way they deliver Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, that's the standard for like Disney humor nowadays, as opposed to when you look at that original Pirates, the dark, the grittiness, and that humor, it was so good. But now we've unfortunately moved past that decade. We're not in that time period, because even that whole trilogy, especially Dead Man's Chest, it had that dark grittiness, and like that humor was funny. It was just unique, and I feel like they don't focus on that. They've kind of pushed along to now, like Dead Men Tell No Tales, this forced humor where he's like inside the bank vault and he's like playing it up like he's dumb, and they're making like weird like woman jokes about mums and stuff and like horologists and everything, and it's like some of that is kind of funny, the like quickness of the certain responses, but then a lot of it is so forced and unnecessary that it doesn't work. Like one of my favorite scenes in like Stranger Tides was when he's like has to fire the guns off at Blackbeard's daughter, and Blackbeard told him that the gun, one of them is loaded, and he doesn't think that they are, and he's like, they're not even loaded, and he waves around and he shoots it. And when he shoots it up in the air, he like looks at it like, that's the kind of Jack Sparrow that I love and I miss, and we don't get that.
But that wasn't like that wasn't in the original trilogy, Dead Man Tales. Tell No Tales.
No, but that scene in Stranger Tides, that kind of like scene with Jack Sparrow, that kind of humor was like all over the original trilogy. That stuff isn't really into Tell No Tales. And if they do a new Pirates movie, I feel like they're not going to mount up to what that is, that kind of humor. I feel like if they bring in, Karen, which she's a great actress, I love her in Jumanji, and she's a great Nebula. So I think that, there's potential with her. But then I feel like if they throw her into the Pirates universe, I feel like they should not reboot it. They should just create a new story with this actress and this character. If they do like Anne Bonny, I think is the pirate that they're going to do, or I'm not sure. Like
something like that. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember all my pirates' names because playing like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, you get to learn all these pirates like Rackham and Blackbeard and all that. But I think that there's so many characters that they could tap into, and they could just create a character. I just think that they need to keep it alive in this universe with everyone. Don't bother bringing back like Orlando Bloom or Elizabeth Swann or any of them. That's fine. But, we can probably move past and just rekindle that old Pirates theme. Like when you go on the ride at Disneyland, that Pirates ride feels like the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It feels so good. And, it just make it like that. Don't make it super colorful and super just like kiddie, just make it what it should be in all its prime and glory. But I feel like things are so censored nowadays. Like you can't have Jack Sparrow like holding a gun to this woman's head with a chain, throwing insults and all that stuff at James Norrington. So,
well, one thing I'll have to say though, you fucking love that stupid wedding joke in Dead Man Tales. I was in the theater with you, and when he's like getting married or whatnot, you were ball.
Because that was really funny because it was really uncomfortable. So I really liked that. There was a couple things, because like even the one scene when he's like telling the boy what or Henry Turner, he's telling Henry Turner like advice like on how to like lure talk to a woman, and he's like, that'll be 5 shillings, and he's like, I'm not paying you for that. And then he's like, never tell that to a woman either, or something like that. You didn't expect it. I thought that's kind of funny, but there's so much other humor that's just so forced and just so like bland. And
I know what you're saying. I do think though, because some people also make that case about with Disney too. That could be a thing. I think it could also be a case that the same guy directed the first 3, right? Gore Verbinski, so it's his tone and everything like that. Where the 4th one, it wasn't him, but still maybe some residuals of that. Where Dead Man Tells No Tales, it was just maybe they couldn't get that tone at all. So it could just be that. My thing. So I was looking at the box office here. And in the order they go, so this is from highest to low. So Dead Man's Chest is number 1. That was $1 billion film. On Stranger Tides, $1 billion film again. At World's End was just 400,000 under $1 billion, so 960,000. Dead Man Tell No Tales, that is the second lowest with rounding up to 800,000. And the first one, Curse of Black Pearl, that was 650,000, and that was the first one. So that's why it was the lowest. But my question, so I'm just looking. Oh my God, on Stranger Tides is, oh my God, its budget was $400 million. That's fucking crazy.
400 million?
For Stranger Tides.
No, it couldn't be 400 million.
It is. It's 378 million, but for advertising, it's probably $500 million. That's crazy.
No, not a bloody chance.
I bet because they shot on location so much, and if they delayed, and if you're shooting on location, it costs you so much money. So, oh my God, that's crazy. So my thing is, I'm in a difficult situation. So I love pirates and I want more pirates. I was not a fan of Stranger Tides, and I hated Dead Man Tell No Tales. And I'm sorry for you. You're never gonna get that Davy Jones follow up now. They did that end credit scene and he's not coming back. So, but here, that's the thing where, so like pros and cons of rebooting or not rebooting. As far as a reboot, I'm always put it in the universe, because we'll not talk about Johnny Depp's drama, but let's say at some point it's fine to bring him back or something. There's a chance where you could get a poster of Karen Gillan and Jack Sparrow returns for a movie, right? And you can do that. crossover stuff. So I think always leave it open. Even then, I think they could do this Pirates movie and not even say if it's a reboot or not. Just do it and just say it's it's called Pirates of the Caribbean. It's about Gillen's character, and it's just in the Caribbean. Like, they don't got to say, oh yeah, this is a reboot. None of those other movies matter. They just can say it's in the Pirates universe, because she doesn't even have to meet Jack Sparrow, even if it is in that same universe, right? That's where I hated, and this is where I guess another pro for moving forward is I just don't know what else they were going to do with the whole universe. Jack Sparrow, I think Johnny Depp ran that character to the ground. I hated what they did with him in the last two movies, more specifically Dead Man Tell No Tales, because it just feels like he's just playing a characterization of him. He's just acting as Johnny Depp, or he's just acting as Jack Sparrow, and he doesn't really feel like it is Jack Sparrow anymore. And even from a writing standpoint, I feel like they don't get that character. But even then, I don't like. He wanted to get the Black Pearl. He got the Black Pearl. And then, like, every movie, it's always just some MacGuffin that he never gets, right? So it's like, okay, he doesn't have much path. They were bringing back Davy Jones, which I know you're hyped for, Taylor. But for me, it was just, we had two movies that was all about Davy Jones and Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner. And it felt like they were just going to run that back again because, like, well, everyone loves Davy Jones, even though that, like, would break all their rules that they set out with Davy Jones and the heart and breaking all the curses.
Well, Dead Man Tell No Tales broke a lot, like the compass origins, like everything.
Well, but that's where you're just starting to like bastardize your own property, right? Of just to bring back Davy Jones. And then even then with Barbossa, I thought, okay, they set up a fun story of him possibly having a daughter. This could be good. But no, spoilers for Dead Man Tales. They killed them off. That's one of the lamest tropes I hate in Hollywood is we're going to reveal something to a character 5 minutes before his death. So it's like, you're my daughter. I'm your dad, blah, blah, blah. And it's like they're bonding and then he dies. It's like, oh, really? That's it? It's just like, she's a Barbossa now. You can't give her the name and think, same thing with the son. You can't give him the name Turner and think we're going to love him. So I think for pros, I just don't think there's any story left with these characters. I think they've done them all. But the con is, I just don't know. Because that's the thing. I don't think there's a story purpose to use Jack Sparrow, but I watched Pirates with Gwen. We haven't watched the Dead Man Tell No Tales yet, but we will at some point. She enjoyed them for the most part. She get bored, but she knows who Jack Sparrow is, and kids all over love Jack Sparrow. And I think that was lightning in a bottle. Like, even Dead Man Tell No Tales, the second lowest, almost $800 million. That's a hit. That's still a big hit for Disney. It's not a bomb or anything like that. It's one of the lower ones, but still made them lots of money. You imagine merchandise, all that stuff, lunch boxes. So I just don't know without Jack Sparrow, and that's the con of moving on without him. I don't know. Even Karen Gillan, I think she's a great actress. I think she would be great for a role they give her, but I don't think that, like, Curse of Black Pearl, I don't think they knew it was going to blow up as big as they did. I don't think they knew everyone's going to love Jack Sparrow that way. I know Johnny Depp was bigger, but still, it became like a phenomenon. Like, Jack Sparrow became one of Disney's biggest IP. I don't know. Maybe she can do that, but that's a lot to ask of a person to just be like, here, create an iconic character. It's already enough that you have to like show up, act, and like do a good performance. To be like Robert Downey or Johnny Depp, just be like, create a girl that everyone wants on their TV. I'm not going to ask that of any actress. So I think that's tough for her to create like a new Jack Sparrow. And I just think that maybe you'd have to get her and a bunch of other like well-known actors or actresses. I'm not saying she doesn't have the star power, but I guess I'm just saying that I think she could lead a film. I don't know if she could lead a film to like $2 billion, almost $3 billion movies on her own. It's like, I guess you just have to make these movies really damn good. But my thing is, I just feel like so many people showed up for Jack Sparrow. You know, what do you think about like the potential success of another Pirates without Johnny Depp?
Well, I don't know. I think it'll do well, but I don't think it's gonna like clean out the box office.
Yeah.
Like, even my parents, like when I talk about it, like, oh, did you like, Pirates of the Caribbean? And they always reference Jack Sparrow because like he was such a hit with like the parents, and you got so like parents, kids, all that. It's Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp. They love that character. So it's as you said, it's gonna be hard to top that. And I wouldn't want her to feel like she needs to top it. I just want her to just be unique and do something that gives life to this new character, and just if she delivers on it, then that's all you can ask for, because you can't compete with someone who is your Bale as Batman, your Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, your Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, your Toby as Peter Parker. Like they become these icons.
I'm not gonna give you the Toby one.
Oh yeah, pizza time.
I'll throw in Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but that's the thing. I feel like people are going to be expecting that of her. Even the Disney execs are going to be expecting her to create this new big character, and
that's their own fault because they shouldn't be. That's ridiculous.
And that's where this sounds like I'm sitting in my little spare room, not making the money she is. But to me, as like her agent, I legitimately would sit her down and be like, I just feel like this is a potential no-win scenario. If it works, great, but I just don't think it will, because then everyone's gonna be like, oh, look, she couldn't lead the Pirates franchise. But I don't think that's it. I think you could put in anybody in this franchise and it's not gonna work. I think maybe it's just too soon. Maybe that's it. Maybe 10 years from now, and like, oh, we're not really have Jack Sparrow on our mind. But the last one came out, what, 2017? It's only been 3 years. And we talk about that with Wolverine all the time, how we feel like Marvel's gonna wait because they want you to like put as much distance between Hugh Jackman and the next Wolverine, right? Like, don't think about Hugh. Where right now, if let's say in 2022, that's only 5 years after Dead Man Tell No Tales, people will still be thinking about Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp. Where wait for a generation of kids that didn't grow up with Jack Sparrow, that know nothing about Jack Sparrow, so they don't even then, like, when they grow up and they're older, it's not like, oh, this isn't a Pirates movie without like Jack Sparrow. I'm not going to watch this. Like, just wait. Like I said, I get why they want to do it though. It has a ride. It's a popular franchise. I was more down for that idea when they were talking about doing a Disney Plus TV series. I thought that was a great idea. I think you do so many like swashbuckling adventures with somebody. But my last question is, because we did Davy Jones, we did Blackbeard, we did like mermaids, we did zombies, we did islands. Again, what else in your mind? Because I don't have anything. What else in like pirate lore do you think they should cover? Fountain of Youth they did, like, what do you like? Is there something they haven't touched? Because that's the other thing too. I feel like they've done so much of the pirate stuff now.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say because they've done the skeletons, they've done ghost ships, they've done mermaids, they've done Kraken. The Kraken is like the creme de la creme for me. That's like the number one. And when I think like when I'm playing like pirate games and like Sea of Thieves, like there's a lot of like there's a lot of things, but they've already been pretty much tackled in these movies. So I don't know what they would do. They could probably get creative and think of something, but I'd have to look at like different legends, because if it is going to take place in the universe and the last movie just kind of said every curse of the sea will be broken, then like what's left, so
that's not fun at all. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Do you do like a Joker approach, not like radar Disney Pirates movie, but do you do simply just a pirates looking for treasure, like get it down to bare bones, just make it a simple, like almost Indiana Jones adventure where they're just going to multiple islands trying to find a treasure, and that's it? Like, just keep it something simple?
I think they should do something simple. I'd be okay with that. I miss those movies. Like, it's so nice. Like when you're at home, you have nothing to do, you can pop on Indiana Jones, you can pop on like your Goonies or something like that, and it's just a fun adventure that you can just have in the background. And I think that it's those are always the kind of movies you always go back to eventually down the road, whether you own them or you want to rent them or stream them, no matter what. So I feel like that's not a safe way to go about it, but just a nice nostalgic way to do it. So.
Yeah. And my last question is, do you think it would help at all if it is in the universe? Not that it would, but would Disney get scared and possibly make her like the daughter of Jack Sparrow or something like that? Yeah, and you think that's a possibility still?
If they did the daughter of Palpatine, then they'll do the daughter of Jack Sparrow. I think that's it right there.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. So that's why I wonder if it is a full reboot. That's why they'll go, oh, it's not that. But well, we'll see. Thank you, Errol Sulfur in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you too. So it's interesting. I'll be there because I want more pirates. I do want to see more pirates of some sort. I just don't know how they're gonna do it. So anything else before we close out this episode?
No, the only other thing I can think of is that at some point in time, I can't remember who the fan was that shouted this out, but they wanted to see me do a review for Dora the Explorer, and it is on Amazon Prime, ladies and gentlemen. So at some point, I'm going to be trying to do a live commentary track. Well, maybe not live, but I'm doing a commentary watch-along track of Dora the Explorer, so you can like watch the movie with me, kind of, sort of speak. So it should be a good time. Some Daddy Trejo. I don't know when this is going to release, but it will be coming at you.
Oh boy, yeah, there you go. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said I said in the middle of it, June 1st, we're launching our very own podcast network, Geek Ultimate Alliance. Check that out. 6 shows, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. Hit the subscribe. It's pretty much everywhere. If not, let us know on Facebook or Twitter. Hit one of us up personally. Just let us know, hey, I listen to this, it's not there, but the feed is up there. It's just a 30-second teaser of the challenge just so you can subscribe. But then June 1st, we're debuting with my show. I'm excited because we're doing our first topic is which MCU or which storyline should the MCU adapt from the comic books. So I'm picking 3, Chris is picking 3, and we're going to do a deep dive on those. We're going to introduce some fun segments. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. As always, we hope you're having a good week and everything like that. Thank you for supporting us. And I guess, you know what? May the force be with you.
Always.